I just knew that this was what I wanted to do, and I knew that if it didn't work out, that it was meant to be part of my path and part of my journey.
Hello, hello, loves. You are listening to the Love Life with Court show, and as always, I'm your host, Courtney. If this is your first time tuning into the pod, well, welcome to the family, and if not, here is a warm welcome back. Today, I have something very awesome, which is get ready to meet the unstoppable force of fun and inspiration, Brooke Sagle, as the dynamic owner of Sleek Beauty and Barber Bar and Sleek Bridal and beyond. Brooke brings a burst of energy to everything she touches, but she's not just about style and glam. She's the brains behind the Sudbury Women's Circle, a hub of empowerment and growth. And as if that wasn't enough, Brooke's journey as a content creator and influencer is a roller coaster of laughter, insight, and pure joy. Thank you so much for being here, Brooke.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on the show, Courtney. I look forward to this podcast with you.
Yeah, me as well. So before we dive in, the main intentions for our show today is going to be talking about your journey as an entrepreneur, which you are actually the first person on the show that I've talked to about their entrepreneur journey. So I'm really looking forward to that. And also incorporating your health and fitness journey. So if you can first just talk about what that journey's looked like for you and just how you became the well-known Brooke Sagle.
So I started out, I guess, my entrepreneur journey as a hairstylist. That's what kind of bridged me into the whole realm of entrepreneurship. So when I was very young in high school, I did a high school co-op at my Nana's hair salon, actually. She's a salon owner as well. So I did my high school co-op there. First day, I thought it was just going to be sweeping the floors, typical co-op. By the second day, I was doing my first set of highlights, and I was in love. I knew this was the business for me. That being said, I also knew that I didn't want to just do hair for the rest of my life. I wanted to, and all the power to everyone who wants to do that, but my life lies in entrepreneurship. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, a salon owner, and impact the world as best that I can.
I love that. Can you take us, you've touched on from the beginning, but can you take us back to the beginning of what that entrepreneurial journey looked like for you? And although you touched on what inspired you to start your own salon, but really what inspired you to continue to persevere and really blow up as an entrepreneur?
So what inspired me in the entrepreneur world would probably just be like touching the lives of others, changing others, trying to make our world a better place, inspire people, and give them the knowledge that I've learned over the years so maybe they can have an easier time than I did. Because I've had a few good mentors, but nobody that really was just like my main source for everything. So I just want to help other women in the same position that I was in elevate to be where they want to be in life.
Using your own experiences where you didn't have the opportunity to be mentored by someone that knew kind of all of the realm of what you do, and now you can offer that back to others. That's awesome. You touched on some challenges that you faced. What were some initial challenges that you experienced at the beginning of your journey?
The list can go on forever and ever. All y'all entrepreneurs know we face challenges daily, and I feel like that's what makes us stronger. Every little challenge that comes our way, I truly believe that it was meant to happen, and it's all part of our journey to elaborate, get better, and help impact other people. Some challenges that I could think of off the top of my head would just be your typical challenges like feeling stuck, unaware of what to do, feeling imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not good enough, like, is this really meant for me? Am I supposed to be an entrepreneur? Am I doing this right? When yes, in fact, you are doing it right because you're the one creating it. So who else could do it better than you?
Like you said, entrepreneurship often has its fair share of obstacles, and they never stop. I am just learning at the time of my journey. Can you share a particularly challenging moment or setback that you encountered and how you overcame it?
When the world shut down, that was my job, was to be cutting hair, coloring hair, being a hairstylist, and I physically got that ripped away from me. So I wasn't able to do hair, my passion, and wasn't able to make people feel beautiful. So that challenge was very hard for me because there was physically nothing I could have done. We've all went through those stages. We don't need to talk about the dark times there. but that definitely was super downfall in my industry. That being said, I twisted it around and made it something beautiful. That's when I was really able to hone in on my marketing, my goals, my entrepreneurship journey was through the lockdown. Because I was unable to cut hair, I had all this free time. So instead of just sitting there doing nothing, I started my own podcast where I interviewed different women entrepreneurs around the city. I started selling sleek refresh kits, which were essentially like a non-box dye version of getting your hair done professionally. So I would FaceTime my clients, give them the proper products, show them how to do their hair so that when they came back into the salon, their hair wasn't all messed up from using wrong products on their hair that could damage it and cause a bunch of other issues. On top of that, I started carrying Kevin Murphy products, which I've now carried for the past 3-4 years, I believe, ever since COVID began. I knew I needed to pivot my business, so I started doing curbside pickup, drop-offs for that, and I just had to pivot my full business. I made a bad thing into a good thing, and that really sparked my love for entrepreneurship even more, because like I said, I was really able to focus on the things I loved rather than just cutting hair 24/7, which if you love to cut hair, that's fine. I love it 50-50.
Yeah, everybody's journey looks different in what they want out of their career or their fulfillment in life, right? So thank you for sharing that.
Definitely.
I think the pandemic definitely shared its fair share of ups and downs. It seems that you really took that opportunity to learn and grow and still continue to offer what your initial mission for your business was, to empower others and to help others. And you did that by taking a shitty situation and making it a lot better, which is
100%.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Now, because I know you personally, I know you have made some amazing lifestyle choices that have supported your health and well-being. Do you mind sharing how your journey started and where you are at with it now?
Definitely. So, to be honest, the journey started out pretty rocky. As most of us young women in elementary, high school, it's not very uncommon to feel bad about yourself and your body and have a negative image on the way you look and body size and all of this stuff. So, like any other young woman, young teenage girl, I had those insecurities and those issues myself. On top of that, the people I was surrounding myself with didn't make me feel any better about the situation. So I honestly just saw myself as like so low, so little, just basically worthless, which is really sad to say, but it's honest. And if this could help any young girls out there, I really hope it touches their heart and inspires them in some sort of way. So because of that strong self-hatred, I decided, okay, I gotta do something about this. So as young as grade 8, so I believe that's 13 years old, I started going to the gym every day, meal prepping all my own meals. My mom's a fantastic cook, but I was like, oh, I'm not eating pasta. I have to have my chicken and rice. Meal prepped all my own meals since 13 years of age. That being said, it was a yo-yo with my health. So I'd meal prep and then I'd eat 5 chocolate bars, and then I'd meal prep and then I'd eat 5 chocolate bars because there was no balance. It was black and white, one or the other. Very hard to find a balance when your drive is from basically essentially hating the way that you look. So over the years, I've done it all. I've tried every diet. I've tried every workout plan, fitness. I play sports, used to heavy lift, used to be into bodybuilding. Lately in life, which I find has helped me become the most happy, balanced, is honestly just doing what works for my body instead of trying to force all of these things to happen. So I used to have to force myself to go to the gym 6-7 days a week, 2 hours a gym session. I used to have to force myself to eat on a meal plan, weigh out my cucumbers to the exact T. Mind you, I did want to compete in a bodybuilding competition, so those things did need to be done. They do need to be weighed if you are competing. But that's not where I'm at in life currently. Maybe in the future I'll do something like that, but I'm finally, actually I could say that I'm happy with the way my health is. I do work out, but I do Pilates instead of heavy lifting. I'll do some heavy lifting sessions here and there, but I make sure to get in 2 sessions of Pilates a week. I find that these are very good for my body as I have a lot of mobility issues, so it helps my body regulate better. It's easier on my body, and it's super fun. And it's cute to have a little girl gang community there. And you pay for the classes in advance, so you better bet that my ass will be at those classes. And then food-wise, now it's like, if I want a cookie, I eat it. Where before I would stop myself from eating the cookie to later on binge 5 cookies. So now it's like, I eat a very balanced lifestyle. That being said, I am very conscious of foods and how they affect your body, especially my body. I do struggle with PCOS, so I do have to be careful of what foods I put into my body. Every time I'm at the grocery store, I check the label and everything before I purchase it, not out of a malicious way, out of a way that I want to be buying things that fuel my body, that make me feel good, that give me energy, and that are going to help me overcome the PCOS symptoms and just live a happier, better life. So now with my food, like I was mentioning, I just eat what makes me feel good. That being said, I do make sure that about 80% of the food that I eat is very protein-based, nutritious-based, and nutrient-dense. And then if I want to, I don't even want to call it a cheat, but if I want to have a snack here and there that isn't per se healthy, it's fine because it'll balance it out so later on I won't be eating the 5 cookies.
The whole, I was going to say, like, fueling our body and eating to do so, like feeling good. And until you build that relationship where you actually value the food that you're eating. I think, I don't know about you, but I had a very toxic relationship with food where I wasn't even at the point where I started my weight loss journey. I wasn't even thinking what makes my body feel good. It was just what makes me the skinniest, what makes me feel, like I knew nothing about volume eating. I knew nothing about macros, like all of this. I just wanted to chase that feeling of being small. And then I became small and I still was not happy. I still did not feel good. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we're talking about this because I feel like that is a very high percentage of not only young women, not only women in general, but just people in general. We essentially, in some situations, starve ourselves because we want to feel skinny and small, and then we get to that point and we're still not happy. It's like, I used to eat the way that I did because I hated myself, and now I eat the way that I do because I love myself, and it makes a huge difference.
And you have to, I think, go through the motions of that. Like, there's not really a part of my journey personally that I regret because I don't think I'd be where I am now with my relationship with food if I didn't experience that. And learning how to let go of like the culture of eating when it comes to society, like growing up, we're the same age. So growing up, like we grew up with Weight Watchers and seeing commercials all over, like lose 10 pounds in 1 week. And that kind of culture was like ingrained into us in such a young age that we weren't actually taught like eat to feel good and learn what your body needs. And even simple things like protein. I didn't know much about protein growing up. Like that simple concept of how much protein did you eat today and the way it would influence my hormones and all that. I could go into it forever.
I feel that.
Yeah, and I think it's so amazing to get to a point where you feel good every day and where you talk about like intuitive eating. If you want to eat that cookie, eat that freaking cookie, but you don't eat it because it's something that you're restricting yourself from. You eat it because you're like, I want a cookie. And when you stop yourself from restricting, everything becomes plentiful. You know that you can eat it whenever you want, so you don't want it as bad,
You're
right?
not like, I have to have it now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, building a successful business often requires long hours and hard work, which I'm sure can take away from, prioritizing our health and putting us first and self-care. How do you maintain things like motivation and energy levels to stay committed to prioritizing not your business first, but you first? And if you're doing that, if you're still finding difficulties with that journey, what is it looking like for you?
So, to be honest, the motivation is normally here. It's, in my world, not about motivation these days. It's about dedication, because daily I am not motivated to do these things. Like I said, I suffer with PCOS. One of the main symptoms of that, chronic fatigue. On top of that, I run a 4-employee business, along with a bunch of other things on the side of that. So my brain is never ending. My list is never ending. I'm go, go, go. Anyone that knows me personally knows that it doesn't get much busier than this. And I don't slack. Like, I do not take a minute to rest until it is needed. I have been incorporating rest a little bit more into my routine lately, because I am trying to have like a super balanced life. But the old Brooke especially was grind. Didn't matter if I worked 16 hours that day. If I still had another client call in, I would be taking them too. I just wanted to accommodate everyone, build my business, grow my business. But I put in those hours. I grew my business. And I do think that it is essential at the beginning to really put in those long hours and not really have a work-life balance, just to grow yourself, set yourself up for success. A lot of young kids nowadays are like very entitled, in the sense that they think that they just deserve it all right now, and their time will come. I wanted it all right away too when I was younger. All I wanted was the life that I have now, and now that I have this life, I'm so grateful, but I want more and more and more. So those cages are never going to stop. You're just going to keep growing if you're an entrepreneur. You know this. But the way that I really maintain a work-life balance, I would say, would be prioritizing myself. So like I said, when you are starting out, you need to prioritize your work. But then once you have something, a platform to grow from, then you could start incorporating your work-life balance. So I make sure that I get my fitness in every single week. I make sure that I get my meals in. Even if I don't have time to cook and meal prep, meal prep doesn't necessarily have to mean chicken and rice. It could mean like any quick food that you're preparing type of thing. If I don't have time to do that, okay, I'm going to stop at the grocery store and I'm going to get a quick pack of chicken to eat, or a can of tuna, or something still high protein that's going to fuel my body. It's better than going next door and getting a poutine, or just stopping at McDonald's quick and grabbing a burger because it's quick and easy. You need to find resources that are there for you when you don't have time. So yes, it's great to meal prep and have all these elaborate plans and everything, but you need a backup plan for when plan A doesn't work. You have plan B to come in clutch, save your back, and make sure that you're still able to fuel your body with the foods that you need.
That's what's so important about putting yourself first, is you think you know that you're more important than stopping quickly at McDonald's and getting something, that you're going to make the effort to go in somewhere and get yourself something that you know is protein dense and will make you feel satisfied, and is not just prioritizing your health, but prioritizing you as a person and what you have to offer. Because if you're not eating properly, your energy levels are low, and then that goes into your work as well. So it's definitely a tier, right? Thank you for sharing that. How do you manage your stress levels, especially in the beginning, if you were able to manage your stress levels and prevent burnout while juggling responsibilities of business ownership and personal health? Any suggestions or things you've learned along your journey?
So at the very beginning, I'm not going to lie, I was getting 4 hours of sleep a night. I was burning myself out, working myself to the bone. I knew that wasn't the life that I wanted to live, especially because health is such a big thing in my life, that I needed to find a way to integrate health and business together without deteriorating any of them. So like I said at the start, my health was very deteriorated. I was getting no sleep. I was eating whatever I could eat when I got home at 10 p.m. and then passing out and doing the same thing over the next day. Didn't have time to work out, didn't have any time to do anything to prioritize my health, because I was just prioritizing my business. Once I decided that that needed to change, I find that calendar blocking is literally my savior, and writing notes. Every time an idea pops in my head, I write it in my notes, and everything that I need to do, whether it be big or small, whether it be an actual event or just something small that I want to do in a day, I have to put it in my calendar or it won't get done. So now that I love myself, I make myself a priority. I make my fitness a priority. So if I want to work out, let's say even 2 days a week, like that's what I normally do is just Pilates 2 days a week. For now, that's what I'm comfortable with. That's what works with my lifestyle. I schedule that in 2 days a week before work, prepay for the classes. That way I just go. I don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't go, I'm losing that money. So I find that working out really helps manage stress levels. On top of that, just having an outlet besides working, because normally I love my job, as I'm sure you do and most entrepreneurs do as well. So working is normally our only outlet because we love it, so we never want to shut off. But at the same time, too much of one thing is never a good thing. So I like to disperse my time with working out, getting walks in, making sure that I still have enough in my cup to give back to my family, my friends, my fiance, rather than just empty burnout, because your family and friends, that's huge when it comes to burnout. Like, they got your back. Even if you just go have a small little coffee chat with someone, I'm sure you'll feel a lot of relief after that, just bringing you back to the real world. Because some of us entrepreneurs get real caught up in entrepreneuring, and that definitely causes burnout because, like I said, it's one idea after the next, and it's never good enough, and the lists never end, and you just have to keep going. So sometimes you just need to prioritize your health over the lists, and maybe write a list instead of 100 things that you have to get done that day. Write a list of 3 things. That way you'll actually be proud of yourself when you accomplish those 3 things, instead of accomplishing 10 things and still not being proud of yourself because you haven't accomplished 100 of them.
100%. I definitely am in that window right now of not like, I love what I'm doing so much that it's everything, and it's driving me a little cuckoo lately because it's all I ever think about. Like, I'll literally dream about things and then wake up and put it in my notes. Because I'm like, I have an idea. And even my husband is like, what are you doing? Like, shut it down. So the other night I was like, let's join a salsa class or let's take art classes together. And like, I had this moment where I'm like, I have to do something else. Like, I am so consumed by this that I can't shut it off ever. Even when I'm working out, I'm thinking about it, or I'm listening to my podcast and seeing how can I improve on the next one.
I love
What
that.
are some, yeah, but right now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, we have to find some time to just shut down. What are some,
When you do shut down and you find that time to do other things, your creativity will just skyrocket in the stuff that you can't shut off, because you'll have a clean, clear slate, right? Go ahead.
Well, no, thank you. What are some additional things that you would suggest, maybe that you don't do yourself, but that other people can do if they're at the point right now where they're just not able to shut it off, or they want to find some new things to do? You talked about where you go working out or you'll spend time with family. Do you have any additional tips?
Another thing that's super underrated and some people don't believe in it per se is meditation. But meditation doesn't have to be this whole big thing that people make it out to be. Like, it definitely can be. But meditation is honestly just taking the time to breathe, taking the time to absorb the space that you're in and just sit in the now without thinking about anything else. Even just closing your eyes for a few seconds a day, whether it be the morning, definitely don't recommend when you're driving, but anytime that you have a few seconds to close your eyes, just close your eyes and try and make your brain empty. As hard as that sounds, you will have thoughts triggering, but just try to let them flow, try to let the thoughts flow by, and just focus on the here and now. Focus on your breath. Focus on what you can, like the different little sounds you hear, whether it's like the crickets or whatever. Focus on the smells you have around you. Like, just take the time to really indulge in the beauty around you rather than living in the fast lane and just taking every little thing for granted. That's definitely one tool. Working out, like I said, spending time with friends and family. Another thing that can help you is just finding something outside of work, no matter how much you love your job, whether that be drawing, writing, journaling. I keep telling myself I'm going to get more into journaling. I do it here and there, but I find that even just taking the time, if something's really burning me out or bothering me, to write it down, you see it written down and you're like, oh, that's actually not even that big of a problem. I was just making it this whole big thing in my head. Give your friend a call, FaceTime one of your close friends, and just take that time to really be in that moment and shut your brain off. I know it's really difficult because for me, my brain never shuts off. Like I was saying, it's go, 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 go 24/7. But when I am with friends, I try and put the phone away. When I am in public, I put the phone away. When it is me and my fiance having dinner together, I put the phone away, and I really just try and live in that moment. And I find that that really helps with burnout because it's just a few seconds for your brain to shut off. Even when these thoughts are flowing, write down what you're thinking about so then you could just move on and relax in the moment.
I think it's all about, like you're talking about, like being more mindful, being more aware, and just in the moment and practicing, just mindfulness in general. Simple things, like for me, when I go for a walk or a run, like that's usually my outlet. Like if I'm having a hard time or I am having troubles getting focused, I'll just go for a run. And simple things for me of just like being aware of my feet as they touch the ground, or, and connecting with that, it kind of shuts everything else off, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your perspective on that.
Totally.
Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, it often requires taking big risks. I'm sure we're both familiar with what that looks like. Can you share a bold decision you made that really paid off, and how did it impact the trajectory of your business?
Oh, this is a good one. So, boldest decision of my life, baby. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So, let's make this long story medium. So, y'all know I've been a hairdresser for 8-ish years now. My journey began at my Nana's salon as a co-op. And then I continued to level up from there, went to hair school, yada, yada, rented a chair from my Nana's salon and started my own business renting a chair from her. My biggest thing was my leap from my chair rental to my salon. Biggest risk, scariest thing of my life. Like, I'd be lying if I'm telling you that I wasn't shitting my pants while signing the papers. So scary, but bigger risk, bigger reward. It's just, if you know that this is right in your soul, which I did, it had to be done. Many people told me, like, including my own family who love me and support me more than anything, but they allowed their limited beliefs to affect me. So that's why you don't tell anyone anything. If you want to do it, you do it, especially family, because family loves you and they're always looking out for you, trying to support you, trying to have your back. But just because they're having your back, that doesn't mean that it's the right decision. So I was actually in Florida, and I saw this beautiful location, and I was like, wow, I need that. It hit all the boxes, checked off all the boxes for what I was looking for in a salon. I knew I needed it as soon as I saw the first ad. And then it was weird. It's like that thing where you see your ad, and then it just pops up everywhere. So I was like, okay. My mom at the time was a real estate agent. She now quit real estate to open up her own restaurant. But she was a real estate agent at the time, and I called her because I was in Florida with my dad, and I was like, Mom, I need you to go look at this location, FaceTime me, whatever. So she FaceTimes me, I look at the location, I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, this is perfect. So I'm not kidding about this, I'm literally golfing, and she's wiring me the papers. I'm like, hold on a second, Mom, just gotta hit this shot. Shoot my golf swing. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Answering all the questions. She wired me the papers. I e-signed all of the papers from Florida without even seeing the salon in person. And the day I came back from Florida was the day I got the key to my salon. So
I have goosebumps.
That was definitely the biggest risk I've ever took, but the biggest reward I've ever had. My sleek salon is my baby. I've had my business now for 4.5 years, but the new location, it was 2 years yesterday. So 2 years going strong with the new location after everyone told me that I shouldn't do it. It was too big of a risk. But like I said, you don't let anyone else determine your future. If you know it's right in your heart, and even if it's not, would be a learning experience to move forward and to push you towards the next endeavor that you're meant to be doing. So clearly this is meant to be what I'm doing. Everything is working out great. I have a successful salon, a beautiful staff, and I just love it's my baby. Love it more than anything, and I'm so happy with that big risk that I took.
No regrets, not one.
No regrets.
I loved where you said, like, try your best not to share with others what your plans are, because then you give the opportunity for them to share their limiting beliefs with you, right? And I always try to like embody the concept of like succeed in silence, not sharing, making a lot of money or having a big deal and things like this, because that exposes your opportunities and your successes to the energy of others, right? And I'm always keeping that in mind, because often it can become really exciting for us to share these big wins because you want other people to win too. But it definitely, with those limiting beliefs, they can become harmful. How did you persevere with the limiting beliefs that you were instilled during these big risks that you took?
So although everyone was telling me, or not everyone, I should say, a lot of people were like, oh, that's risky, don't do it. Part of me just did it because I wanted to rebel against them. One. Two, like I said, I just knew that this was what I wanted to do, and I knew that if it didn't work out, that it was meant to be part of my path and part of my journey. And the people that were telling me this, I love and respect them as people, but I don't want the life that they have, and they're happy with that, which is great. Everyone has their own trajectory in life and their own path of what they want to follow, and just because this is my dream doesn't mean that this is Tommy's dream down the street to own a hair salon. So Tommy's gonna think, that's a dumb idea, why would you do that? So if the person isn't literally exactly where you want to be in life, I wouldn't bother, to be honest, because it's not the right path. They have a totally different vision. They don't see what you see. They don't see it how you see it. And don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't a walk in the park getting this salon. I walked in, thought it was going to be this turnkey place, ended up having to do thousands of dollars in plumbing, electrical, because it wasn't a hair salon, so I had to make it one. So that's the thing with entrepreneurship as well. You're going to find out that there's always going to be these little bumps along the way. It's just about how you overcome them, and I think that's what truly shows how good of an entrepreneur you are. How you overcome the challenge.
Yeah, I love that. Now, talking about challenges, talking about, moving forward and moving past the limiting beliefs of others, what was the most unexpected lesson you learned as an entrepreneur?
Unexpected. Not everyone's going to be rooting for you. The people that you thought were going to be in your corner the whole entire time are usually the ones who aren't. Normally it's your clients, your customers, people that you never met before that support you the most, that want to be there for you the most, that want to hype up your business, that want to make you love your life, because these are the people that are truly like you. But it's hard to find those people, because the people that we grow up with, that we're surrounded by constantly growing up, it doesn't mean that they're like us. It's really hard to find someone who's similar to you, who's going to support you, who's part of your tribe, because a lot of the people that you grow up with only see a small version of you that you might not even be anymore. So they don't even believe that you're capable of doing this, because maybe the old version of you wasn't, which makes sense. So I find that people really cling on to the old version of you, people that have known you your whole life. And honestly, it hurts to say, but jealousy is a bitch. Like, a lot of people don't want to see you doing better than them, don't want to see you skyrocketing past them, don't want to see any of that, which sucks, because I love seeing people around me thrive. That's my whole goal in life, is to help others be better and feel better and just be happy and never have to feel the way that I felt when I was younger.
Of course. I mean, we crossed paths a lot together growing up, and I think where we are now, nobody
Makes
would have
sense.
ever expected. Yeah, like the people we surrounded ourselves with. Although I think, I think that my upbringing was really good, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I had throughout, but definitely the people I surrounded myself with were a clear indication of what my worth was, because I really didn't surround myself with a lot of people that built me up. And when you become an adult, you kind of have to create that for yourself and
So
be that person for yourself until you can attract those people. So how have you attracted those kind of people, or what does that look like for you in terms of creating a community for you to feel accepted and rooted for and so forth?
so first of all, there's two different types of old friends. There's the first type, which is people that you will love for your whole entire life, and they're the sweetest, most dearest people. You
Mm-hmm.
guys just don't have the same goals, dedications, vision for the future, which is totally acceptable
Mm-hmm.
and fine. But you have to realize that there is more to life than just hanging out with small minded people, if that's the case. So,
Mm-hmm.
for the people that are good but are more small minded than you, that's fine. They can either grow with you or they can still just stay an old friend. Just someone that you distance yourself from a little bit more. No hard feelings, no drama. It's just you guys don't energetically vibe on the
Resonate.
same level. Yeah, you don't resonate. You don't
Yeah.
vibe on the same level. You'll still always have love for that person in your heart. They'll still always be a part of your life. Just they don't need to be a part of your daily life if you guys aren't headed on the same journey. And then there's the
Mm-hmm.
people who are just plain old mean, want to tear you down, don't want to see you thrive, and just literally pray for your downfall. Those people
Mm-hmm.
automatically ties need to get cut, but
Mm-hmm.
I would say step one is just limit yourself from hanging out with the people, good or bad, that don't fully align with you. That being said,
Mm-hmm.
not everyone's going to fully align with you, but at least have the same,
Make you feel
like,
good.
you can
I would
have,
just
yeah,
say,
like me and you, for
yeah.
instance, we have two totally different jobs, but we're
Mm-hmm.
on the same path. We're on the path to success. We want to
Mm-hmm.
hype people up. We want to level people up. We want to level ourselves up. We just want to be our best. So just surround yourself with people who make you feel your best, uplift you, make you want to
Mm-hmm.
move to the next level, inspire you to move to the next level. I find nowadays it's a lot easier to find your tribe because of social media. So if you
Mm-hmm.
post honestly and speak honestly to your audience, you're going to attract people who are exactly like you all around the world, because now you have so many other people that are like you rather than just trying to fit yourself into a small little place like Sudbury.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I feel you on that. When I started this shift in my career and quit my 9 to 5, a lot of my family was like, "What are you doing? Like, this is insane. Don't do it." And I was like, we disagree. Then that's okay. We agree to disagree. And now I think you really have to succeed first to prove those people wrong. And then they're like, "Oh, I always rooted for you."
Yeah, which
Yeah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it's just practicing gratitude for those people in your life that no matter if you're not on the same wavelength in terms of being an entrepreneur or having your own business, but like you said, at the end of the day, if they're good people and they lift you up and you get a feeling of just love after that interaction, those people are meant to be there, right?
I
And
totally
it doesn't
agree.
always mean that you have to cut those people out, especially when you are on a new journey, because most of the time that's when you need those people in your life, right? When you're taking new steps.
Definitely.
And I would like to close. I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you're a very busy woman, but I have one question that I ask all my guests, and I love the answers because they're all so different. But if you had the opportunity to speak to a past version of yourself, not change anything, but just have the opportunity to speak to them, which age would you choose and what message would you instill?
So that's a great question. I would definitely speak to the young teenage version of myself, because that's really in life when a woman starts becoming a woman, and the things that she believes then normally transpire into her future. So I would go back to maybe grade 8 Brooke, talk to her and tell her, you're going to make it. Like, you're going to have everything you desire. Like, I'm living my grade 8 self's dream life right now. And for me, I'm like, oh, I could still do so much more. I'm not even at the top. I'm blah, blah, blah. But for grade 8 Brooke, this is the top. This is what I've always wanted, what I've dreamed of. I literally just wanted to be a salon owner, Pilates girl, in charge of her health and mind, setting her boundaries. So I would basically just tell grade 8 Brooke that, like, don't worry about what people think of you. Don't do things to impress others. Do what feels true to you. Do what makes you feel happy. Surround yourself with the people that make you feel happy. You don't need to talk to someone who doesn't treat you well. Literally just positive, happy vibes all the way around, and you're in control of your life. Nobody else is. So you can make the steps to be healthier. You can make the steps to be greater, more successful, happier. Surround yourself with the people you want to surround yourself with. Don't take in the outside advice too much. Sometimes it's needed, but really just follow your gut. So I'm glad you said not to change it, but to talk to her, because if I wasn't down that low, I don't think I would be that compassionate to want to help others feel happy and succeed and do the most in life. So overall, just trust your gut, do what makes you happy, and screw what everybody thinks. Like, do your own thing, girlfriend.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I always love the responses that people have and emphasizing that not to change. Like, if I had the opportunity to speak to my inner self, I think it would just be to tell her how amazing and awesome she is. And if she only had like the love for herself now, how much she could conquer. Like, she could be president, and we live in Canada.
Right.
You know? And I hope one day to have the opportunity to also like instill that into my kids and be that person to everybody, not just my kids, but to everyone, where I have the opportunity to just remind people that, like, just stay true to yourself, and that makes you a phenomenal person. And you are a testament to that, because throughout this entire journey, like you said, you've maintained good, and just being a good person and knowing that you're innately good within, that sets you up for ever flowing good karma. And I'm super like, your girl's super into karma, and I think sometimes we do things purely for the reward that it gets, but you can really see that with you, your reward is doing those things. Like, you
All
get
about the
yeah, which is awesome. Well, before we close, I would love if you could share anything else that you would want to give to the guests, one last remark, as well as if you could let people know where they can find you, your social media, if you have a website, and so forth.
Well, thank you so much, Courtney, for inviting me to your show. It was a pleasure speaking with you. It was nice catching up. I love everything that you're doing with your life. Super inspirational, so keep up the good work. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram as well. I've quite a few Instagrams, but if you search up my personal, it's Life with Brooke Sagle. From there, you can find my sleek hair account, my sleek bridal account, as well as a few other things. And my website is www.sleekbeautybarber.com. If anyone ever has any questions or comments, definitely don't hesitate to send me a DM. I'm always happy to chat with new people and make new friends. Thanks again, Courtney.
Of course. And you're not just a good person to talk to about hair, although I 100% suggest to reach out, but you are also just a good person to talk about anything, which I'm sure you'd be open to people reaching out to you
100%.
For anything, because I've definitely done it with you.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you again so much. It was such an honor to have you on the show, and I cannot wait to get the feedback of all the people that are watching right now. I'm sure they will love you and love everything you had to talk about just as much as I did. So thank you again, and we will leave you, all of the listeners, with this, a friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to your beautiful, amazing selves. Thanks again, Brooke.
Second that. See you guys later.